Hi, Emmanuel here with T2S. T2S stands for Transform to Succeed, and this is the place where we train people with the skills in to become cloud engineers, DevOps engineers, and pursue that dream IT jobs. And just go to the www dot triple W dot transformed to succeed.com, and you see the link, the website name on the screen here. Yeah, go there and you'll find me and the others in that digital place. In this video, what I'm gonna show you is just to give you an overview of what Terraform is all about and how you can use it to provision your infrastructure. Terraform is one of these tools that we refer to as IAC. So IAC stands for infrastructure as code. So that's what you need to know. So you have the I here, you see here, the I for infrastructure, and then you have that. So infrastructure as code. What happens is when you write Terraform scripts, first of all, it uses what we call as the HCL language. So it relies on that, and that's a high level configuration language. So HCL, about say, and it belongs to what we call the HashiCorps. The HashiCorps, it's an open source. I'm gonna say this here. So we're gonna say it's a higher level. So high level, not higher. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna say high level here. It's high level. It's a high level configuration language. So it relies on this language here. But very easy, very easy to use. And then one of the other concepts that I want you to keep in mind is that it uses providers, meaning that these providers, that would be AWS, that would be Azure, that's Microsoft, Google, and more. They support this tool here. They support the tool, and which is very useful, because using Terraform you can manage multi-cloud resources, meaning resources on AWS, Azure, Google, and so on at the same time. See, so that's very useful. And then next, what you have to understand is that this concept here, state management. So when you think of state management, is that every time you run Terraform configuration files, you initialize first. When you initialize Terraform configuration environment, what happens is that it communicates with the providers, right? Communicated with the providers, and then part of that process, it's gonna create a state file. It's gonna create a state file, and this state file will keep track of all of the resources that are part of your scripts. So the resources that you want to provision and create, they're gonna be stored on this state file. And this state file is a very important file that you can use to like define. I mean, because it defines every resource as part of your infrastructure. You can rely on that state file to get an idea of what's going on, what the resources that you may need to delete, and so on and so forth, or update. Then the other concept is modules, and modules, they're pretty much like directories that you create. You create these directories, and then you use it to organize your working space. So you organize your configuration files into working spaces, right? If that makes sense. For example, you can have like let's say you can have modules here. Modules. You can have modules, and then under modules you have different things, like you can have VPC, which stands for Virtual Private Cloud. That's your network. And there you can also have EC2. These are the grouping of all of your resources, such as your virtual machines that you want to spin up. And here you can have something like Cognito. And Cognito, it's a service that allows your users to authenticate themselves before accessing like your web application and stuff like that. And here you can have something like WAF, which is a web application firewall. And this is just an example, right? This is just an example. You can also have like a database where you store your stuff, like your data. And then after, so this is where you have like let's say you have this is your bank. This is your bank. And not really good writing here. So let's assume that this is your bank. So this is your bank infrastructure. So you have this one here, and then it comes down. Then here you can maybe create your environments, like ENVS environment. And then the first one you have like dev, and here you have staging, right? And then you can have prod here. So this, looking at this one here, this is how you can organize your Terraform configuration files. So you have modules. That would be level. This is the parent level, and then this is the subdirectory of the parent, and which will be modules. And then you have the ENVs here, your environment. So what's happening here is that every environment here will be calling on these here. See here? So all of these, they'll come here. So you're gonna just call on the modules. So you'll have like a module like here you have VPC, something like that. And then you're gonna call on EC2, Cognito, and then the list goes on. Part of this video, I will not go deeper into this, but I'll show you a place where you can go and play with all of this here. So, and then which will be the first thing that you're gonna need to do. You're gonna need first to install Terraform, and this here's the documentation that you can use here. And once you install Terraform, you make sure that you have AWS CLI installed, because we'll be interacting with this, right? So we'll be interacting with our account. And here's the process on how you can install Terraform. On Mac OS, just follow these steps here. On Windows, you're gonna need to have this, and then you install Terraform. This will help you to install Terraform. So you install this one first. It's an open source package management system for Windows, and then you install the Terraform packages. If you running your system machine on Linux operating system, so you also follow the steps here. All right, let's go back to our Visual Studio Code here. So we are here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to our terminal here. So I'm gonna open a terminal, and then in our terminal, I'll just I'll create two files here. I'm gonna create a file, a folder or directory. I will call Terraform demo, and then I'll move cd, change directory to go to Terraform cd. You see here, which says this is where we are, and we can verify this is where we are. This is my name, username. Okay, so I clear that. And what I want us to do is to create two files. We're gonna create two files here, and then we will test our files. And you know, remember, when you're creating a file, a Terraform file, the first thing that you need to do, is to make sure that you specify the provider. So let's say we want to create a file here. I'm going to call it S3TF. Every file configuration, every Terraform file has to have this extension here, .tf. Press enter. And then I'm going to enter my information. So the first command here, I'll put a comment here, creating an S3 bucket. So that's a comment. So I have that. And then the first thing that I need to do is to define the provider. What provider do you want to use? And in our case, it's gonna be this one here, AWS, and then hold on. I'm gonna just, you know, the two-way. I'm gonna Control X and then yes, save. So the two-way that we can do this, we can. Let me just open the folder here. So I'm gonna open this folder. So this is where we are, right? This is where we are, and this is the file I just created. And what I want to do is to define the provider. And when you have installed your Visual Studio Code, which I'm using here now, it's very handy. You're gonna need an AWS extension. You're gonna need a Terraform extension to kind of like have some of these snippets show up. So here, what I want to do is to provide the name of the provider. It's gonna be AWS, and then I'm gonna say, okay, so we need a region, because I need to define that region, and which will be US East 1. Here I can put another comment saying defining my desired region. So I do that, and that's done. And the other thing that I need to do now is to add a block to create my resource. And my resource that I want to create, it's gonna be an S3 bucket. So I'm gonna select that. I'll give it a name, and I'll say T2S bucket demo. Okay, and then now part of this block will be some of the parameters that I need, like bucket here, and then I'll put my bucket name. So let's say here, so I'll do T2S bucket, and here I'll put my bucket name, T2S, and it has to be unique across your account. No other bucket should have this name. That's the point. And then I can put a comment here to say the name of my bucket. The next thing that I need to add is to specify the ACL. ACL, it's optional, so you can decide to make it private, or you can make it public. So I'm gonna leave that out for now, but I will add the tags here. I'll add the tags, and the tags, I'm gonna define the name. I will give it my S3 bucket, my S3 bucket name. That's what I'm gonna do here. My S3 bucket name. Let me see here. It's bucket, and then the environment. I want it to be environment. I want it to be so we're gonna say dev here. It has to be a string, and that's done. One thing that we need to add here, let's say we're creating this one here. We want to create an S3 bucket. As an example here, we also need to add a version here. Okay, what you need to add is a version. So you're gonna need to add a version here, the type of Terraform versions that you want to use, and I'm gonna say required versions. Here the value would be, it's gonna be greater or equal to 1.0.12. So we're gonna say that, leave it at that, and then the provider here is that the provider, those are like plugins that we need to install here, and once we're done, then we should be pretty much set. You can add here, look at the block here, you can add as many parameters as required, but for this demo, we'll just stop here. So you have that, and now what you need to do is to go to open a terminal and make sure that you are in this directory here. You need to be where your files are. As you remember, I don't think I talked to you about this. So next, what you need to do is to apply your configurations. But before you do that, first you have to initialize your Terraform. So you're gonna have to initialize Terraform. And number two, you're gonna have to review the plan. 3, you're gonna have to apply the configurations. And number 4, when done, you can destroy resources or your infrastructure. And how do you do that? So first you're gonna run this command here, terraform init. You're gonna run terraform init. Number 2, you're gonna run terraform plan to validate your infrastructure. And number 3, you're gonna run terraform apply. And here, this is where you run terraform destroy. Terraform, let me just write it here. You're gonna say terraform destroy. So that's kind of like the life cycle. So you initialize, you plan or review your plan, you apply, and then you destroy. And it is also, that's kind of like the life cycle. And there are many other things that you can do, and I'll show you when we're done here. Okay, so we're back here to our terminal, and here the first thing we need to do is to initialize. So init, and it's gonna do this, meaning you initializing the back end, and then it's gonna initialize the provider plugins. When you do the initializing here, so it creates a log file here to record the provider selections it made above. Okay, so the state file has been created. So you have these two things here. You have this one here, and then you have this one. It's locked. So you see, with all of the hashes, for security reasons, this file is maintained automatically by Terraform init. And in this directory, you have the license txt file, and then you also have the Terraform provider with plugins and every other information here. For one of the best security practices, it's to store your state file, because the state file is stored here locally, to store it on an S3 bucket, for instance. That's a back-end remote. But for now, for the sake of this demo, we're gonna just leave it here. So it's here. And then the second thing that you're gonna do is the Terraform plan. We're gonna review what we want to create here. So what will be created is this bucket. A bucket will be created. All right. And these are the details about our bucket and the tags, that we assign to the bucket. And it's only one resource, because if you look at the here, it's only one resource that we want to create. If we go to our management console here, we look at the Amazon S3 bucket here, there's no bucket. Okay, so let's go back to our VSC to a terminal, and then you run the third command, which is to apply your configuration. It's gonna ask you, are you sure you want to do this? Type in yes, and then wait for this to be created. So you get an error here because it's saying that bucket already exists. So this bucket already exists, and because the bucket already exists, hold on please. Okay, I just changed the name here. I added 2024. Let's see if this will make a difference. Give it some time and then press yes. Let's see what happens, and you see it's creating, and this has been created. So if we go back to our management console here, and we should see it populated here. So this is the bucket we've just created using Terraform script. This is kind of like how it works. So the bucket is created, and now we want to destroy it. So let's go and destroy. You know, here we only see one bucket, but the other buckets, for some reason, the other bucket was created in a different, I think in a different region. So if I check here, let's see if I have, you see here. So because it's uniquely created, it's a unique name across all regions in my account. You know, so S3 buckets, they belong to the entire account. So they are not limited to only an availability zone here. So that's created here, and we want now to delete it. So I want to delete this, and to do it, we just do destroy. I'm not just destroying the bucket, but I'm destroying the infrastructure that was created using this Terraform configuration files. Okay, so I then press Terraform destroy, and I'm gonna enter yes, because again here you see 1 to destroy. When we were applying, it was 1 to add. Press enter, and it's been destroyed. Let's go back to, okay, so I didn't show you this. Okay, so this is what happened. So when you do Terraform destroy here, which I did here, so it's gonna ask you to say yes, and I entered yes, and then 1 is destroyed. Let's go back to our management console. So we are back to our management console. I'm gonna refresh this, and this will disappear, and it's gone. So that's kind of like you know, in a nutshell, how you can use Terraform files to provision your infrastructure and manage your resources. You can go to this documentation place here, and this is HashiCorp. So you come here, click like on tutorials. There's so many things that can help you, like here, build a change. You see here, so you can begin maybe here and click start to you know, go deeper learning about Terraform. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video gave you some introductory idea about Terraform. Thank you for watching again. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.